Well, I've just arrived in Westchester County, and it is storming. So it's August 17th, 2018. My friend Tyler is getting married the next day, and I decide to pick up a last-minute gig in New York with IMDb to go talk about the new Operation Finale movie with Ben Kingsley. I'm like, what's the harm in that? I'll fly down and I'll fly back. Should have known better. New York is a hell. LaGuardia Airport is always a good time. So I get there, do the interview, everything's good, get back to the airport. My flight has now been bumped so far back that they end up just canceling it. So a lot of times they just cancel flights to make up on time. So my flight gets canceled. So I have to now leave the terminal to try and get on a flight because I gotta be back in Toronto to get to this wedding that's in Ottawa the next day. So I talked to Air Canada, they put me on a flight. They're like, oh, no problem, you're on this flight at 9 o'clock or whatever it was. I'm like, great. I leave, and then I look, and I'm like, 9 o'clock Monday. They've got me bumped to a flight that's 3 days later. So I go back, and I'm like, this is not gonna work. I gotta get to Ottawa for like noon the next day. Well, let me see what we can do. They're like, we can get you on a flight with a different airline that'll take you to wherever the next morning. So I'm like, great. Different terminal. So then I gotta run out, I gotta get on a train, it's gonna take me to another terminal. I get there, I go through security, I get to the WestJet terminal, they cancel the flight. So then I have to leave security again. Then I go back to talk to somebody else. They get me on this other flight with like JetBlue that's gonna get me to some other city that's gonna get me there in time. Then they canceled that flight. So basically every single flight out of this airport has been canceled today. So then, after sitting on the phone with people, getting put on, I think it ended up being like 6 different flights that night. They're like, hey, are you okay with flying white plane, is what he said, a wide plane or whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't care what kind of plane it is. I'm like, I'll fly whatever. He's like, well, this is the only option. So they booked me on this flight, hands me my ticket. He says, okay, well, you got a long drive ahead of you. I'm like, what do you mean I have a long drive ahead of me? They're like, well, you're going to white plane. I'm like, the wide plane? He's like, no, you're going to White Plains, the airport in White Plains in Westchester County. Well, my extremely overpriced Uber is now here, so I'm gonna go straight to the other airport. So now I gotta take an Uber, and I gotta drive through a fucking storm, and it's raining and there's lightning, and I have to drive an hour and a half in an Uber to White Plains, to this airport that is now closed. It is like the smallest airport that's as big as this place. And I get there and they're like, yeah, we're closed for the night. So you have to like, I don't know, sleep out here. My flight's at 5 in the morning. So now I'm at White Plains. Never been, beautiful place. People are very friendly. And I gotta find a place to sleep. And they're like, the guy's like, just gonna be up front with you. We don't have any candy machines. We have no vending machines. We have no drinking fountains. We have really no seats unless you're in the terminal. So have fun. So I ended up sleeping in a cubicle where people would probably, work on their laptop for a few hours until they opened the airport at 5 in the morning so I can go through security, board my flight to Atlanta.
It's supposed to say Atlanta. It's backwards.
Then I flew from Atlanta to Montreal where my wife met me. Then they picked me up there and then drove me to Ottawa. I missed the whole ceremony, but I caught the party and I made it in time for dinner. That was fun. Never doing that again. That's a true story.